Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat, Monday, September 4th. Hope you're all well. Had a few little technical difficulties this morning, getting things going, but we're here. We're online. Good to see you. Good to see a few of you already up and at it. Justin, morning, mate. Chris is there as well. Aaron. Deb, big hello. Good to see you, folks. Brendan is there as well. Kevin's in the house. Awesome to have you here this morning. Morning. Good to see you. Good to have you online. We've got Sunny also. Hey, today I thought we might talk about play a little game. The game of tax, folks. The game of tax. We're playing a game. The game of how much money can you keep rather than how much money do you make, really, at the end of the day when it comes to money and wealth here in this crazy little world that we're playing in. So today I thought we might talk about that, maybe put some framework around it, some ideas around it as we go along, folks. So we might do that as we get into it. But quick hellos, quick intros. For those who don't know, Jason Witten's my name. Most of you know that already. So hello. If you don't know, give us a shout out in the chat. If you're new here, you may have joined our coaching and mentoring programs. Say good day. Tell us where you are in this wonderful world right now. Let us know. Say hello. Get involved in the chat. Try and keep this interactive. Each weekday we get together around about 10 past 8. You guys know the drill, and we talk about a few things, what is going on out there in the world of investing and what's happening right now. It's a little bit on everyone's mind is the old politicians are winding up. They're all looking for new ways to tax you and me because they have a bit of a cluster on their hands when it comes to debt levels. Anyway. That's the gist of it. But today we're going to talk about putting some framework around the idea of the game of tax. So let's get into that today. And as we're rolling along, give us a shout out in the chat. Here we go. Yep. I got a new cup today. Some friends bought me a cup. Father's Day cup. It said, warning, bad dad jokes ahead. Anyway, there you go. Connie's back from NZ. Hey, I love the NZ world. If I had a magic wand, I would move to Queenstown and live there. But right now, that's not going to happen, but maybe in the future. Anyway, concentrate, Jason. You got something to get done this morning. Let's talk about the game of tax, folks. And it sort of works in this way. The game of tax, the before or after tax game, right? You guys know that I've done plenty of things around this idea of when we earn money, we are exposed to. It's true, Chris. Happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there from yesterday. Good to see you getting taken care of on Father's Day. Hope you had a good day, fellas. The before and after tax game, right? The idea that when we earn our dough, folks, the tax man is the first recipient of those dollars as we earn money, right? You know, you guys have seen me do this, Monday through to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday and half a Tuesday, the ATO get their fair share. And I wouldn't say fair, that's actually not right. They get their share of your money before you do, right? The before or after tax game. And this is the idea, folks, that how can you manage those costs effectively as an investor? And for investors, you have a benefit for business owners and investors in this country. If you do something that you incur expenses, then you get some tax minimization in some way, which is brilliant. So let's talk about that today as the good old politicians wind up to try and tax everyone because they couldn't run the country properly. Doesn't matter who they are. Then make sure we navigate this well as investors, right? The idea, team, is this. You create an income, and then what happens is you pay an expense, right? An expense. Well, you can incur an expense, and we'll talk about this in a minute. Is it paper expense? Is it real cash expense? But, for most of us, what are the expenses in our lives, folks? Like for, let's say, we're talking PAYG as investors at this moment in time. You can have a few tax deductions when it comes to your work, but usually it's not very effective, all right? So you earn your money, you pay your taxes, and then you've got to run your life on what's left over, okay? Which is the idea that, the after tax game, you pay your taxes and then pay for the expenses on what's left over. And that's kind of like the PAYG world. How can we as investors pay for some expenses and have more left over? Good question. And we're going to talk about that. There's a couple of taxes. I think where did I don't know. I must have missed it. Oh, there it is there. So we've got the two taxes that we need to understand how to manage as investors, right? A capital gains tax, when you buy something for one price and you sell something in the future. Now, I'm not a big fan of you selling and incurring capital gains tax because really, at the end of the day, there's actually not a capital gains tax, folks. There's a capital gain calculation, which ultimately you then push that calculation into your income tax bracket, folks, okay? So there's actually not an income capital gains tax, folks. I don't know if anyone realizes that. There's no such thing as an actual tax. There's a calculation, which turns into then income, which then you calculate the tax against the income that you make. Anyway, but it makes it easier to talk about it. Is a capital gains tax and income tax. And they're the two taxes we need to manage as investors as we go along, right? So how do we do that? What's the question? How do we do that? Where effectively can we do that? And we talked about this a second ago. You either pay your expenses before you pay tax, which is smart, right? Because why is it smart to pay your expenses before tax? Well, because depending on your tax rate, you get to reduce your income that is taxable before you have to, give some to the government, which is pretty smart, right? But for PAYG, that usually is quite difficult. For business owners, a lot easier. And I'm not going to talk about that one today, But let's talk about PAYG for many of us. Capital gains tax. How do we run and manage this? Well, folks, you and I, as investors, we can get a discount on the gain that is made in certain structures in certain ways, right? So if you own a property or if you own any investment, and it is sold, then depending on how you own it, let's say if you own those investments in your personal name and a trust, right? Personal name and trust. Now, there's multiple versions of trusts out there, but just don't get too confused about that. Personal name, multiple personal names or just yours, or a trust, then after 12 months, right, you get a 50% discount on what's included in the capital gains tax calculation. So let's just quickly do that. If you bought something for $200 and you sold it for $300, and after 12 months, right, you technically would have made a gain of $100. All right, let's move that over here. You made a gain of $100. Well, only 50% of that, so you get a 50% discount. So $50K is deductible. Okay, everyone cool with that? You got that? So it's like you only pay tax on a portion of it. Okay, so that's what happens. If you own it in under 12 months, so you buy and sell in before 12 months is up, then it's the whole thing's taxable, right? Okay, or the whole thing rolls into your income, and then your income then indicates how much tax you would pay. Hopefully that makes sense, right? Where can we minimize capital gains tax? Where can we get it down? And where can we pay zero? Who likes the idea of zero? Put that in the chat. Like just put pick me or yeah or hell yeah or whatever. Can you manage a capital gain and it be much less? Well, yes. In super, yeah, me, Aaron, me. Well, and most of you know this, and this is sort of, often sometimes we're reminding ourselves of this. Your super has a flat rate, okay? A flat rate of tax, okay? So it's reduced, okay? So tick in the box, so you get less. Your zero, your principal place of residence, your own home, when it's owned in your personal name, then you will pay zero capital gains tax. Now, for you, me, we've talked about this before. I believe that you should have a principal place of residence upgrade strategy in your investment world. And I'm not going to dive deep into that, but, let's say you upgraded your home 3 to 5 times over a 40-year period. Every time you upgrade that home, and eventually when you exit that home, when you're older, maybe you sell it down for some liquidity event or whatever it might be. No tax, folks. No tax. No capital gains tax anyway. A business sale. That's why, a business sale. I'm a big fan of helping business owners understand how to make a capital gains tax-free sale in the future. And you don't even have to sell your business, folks. What's a way you can, and maybe there's a few of you in the chat, what's something you can sell as part of your business in the future if you qualify in a certain way, and you pay no capital gains tax on the sale? Who knows what that is? Well, I talk about super. Put it in the chat if you know what it is. Super in retirement phase, no capital gains tax, very low. So, as you and I build our investment portfolio, then, it's important to understand where and how and why we would buy things and, our strategy around it, right? Okay. Super is a great one. And you guys know the drill. There's a certain amount of assets you can own in super that are income tax-free and capital gains tax-free. Yep. And Mick saying, okay, small business capital gains tax concession. Yes, Mick, that is absolutely true and accurate. But what it is, folks, is if you own a property with your business, and you run your property out of it, and you've got to qualify. There's, a 15-year rule and a certain net tangible assets rule. The property, boom, Chris. So you can have another property, commercial business real estate, tax-free, folks. So imagine this. You got your own home. Let's say you're a business owner. You got your own home, capital gains tax-free. You've got your business sale, the sale of your business, capital gains tax-free. You've got a property in your business. Now, depending on how much you sell it for, it can be up to $6 million, actually, Mick. Capital gains tax-free. And then you own some, investments in your super. Capital gains tax-free. I like that. All completely legal, folks. Like completely 100% doable if you have a strategy. All right, which is good. I love it. Hopefully you get that, right? This Friday, by the way, folks, if you're listening into the live, this Friday, Andy Fenton and I are doing a little business owners gig, and a little business owners gig called the Freedom Machine, and make sure you get along to that. All right, I might see if I can find the link and post it in the chat here. But I'll post the link to a webinar. We're doing a 4-hour deep dive into the Freedom Machine this week for business owners. And listen, high net worth as well. And for some of you, it might be useful to come along in the PAYG world. Some of it won't apply, obviously, but you're more than welcome to register and hang out and have some fun with us. So hang around right at the end. I'll get the link in a moment for that one, folks. So listen, what have we got here? We know we can minimize our tax to zero. How do we get zero income tax, folks? Zero income tax. Well, hiding in plain sight right now, if you had an income of less than $18,200, you pay no tax on it. That's pretty good, isn't it? Don't you think? That's good? That's great for people in retirement. That's great for, children over the age of certain working age. This is kind of cool. So what are the tax rates when it comes to income? How can you manage that as you go along, right? So we call this income tax game the game of 30, right? Game of 30. So you manage the income in a certain way, less than 30%. Where could we do it? And you kind of, use this as a kind of a cascading scale per se to sort of build your taxable income, how you manage that with your accountant. And then if you, let's say, you're building your tax rate either as a business owner or as a PAYG income, 25 to 30%. Oh, thanks, Deb. Deb's got the link in the chat. You're a legend, Deb. Well, folks, how do we, it's a live webinar, Rose. It's not recorded and it's not in person, but it's live webinar. You're invited. Anyway, click the link. Love to see you there, folks. It is predominantly for business owners or high net worth. As a little bit of a niche, we're sort of helping tune that up for business owners, but anybody in the positive group is more than welcome to come along and hang out and have some fun. Listen, how do we minimize our tax at 30%, folks? What's the magic trick? And it's not a magic trick. It's hiding in plain sight. Let's say you declare $100,000 to $180,000 as an investor. What's the game we're playing, folks? The game of what? The game of what happens when we buy the right type of property, folks? What do we get as an absolute no-brainer when it comes to how do we minimize our tax? Now, let's say our tax rate's 30%. How do we push that down? How do we get it down, folks? Boom, Sharon is all over it, right? And let's quickly have a look at this. We get depreciation, folks. Depreciation. Now, and we use a thing called negative gearing. Now, you'll have these tosses out there going, oh, negative gearing's no good. Well, it's fantastic, and there's nothing wrong with it. And while it's here, you use it, right? Don't listen to those tosses. At the end of the day, most of us are buy and hold investors. Well, like I don't teach buy and sell. I don't. Does it work? Yeah, absolutely. There are plenty of people who make money with buy and sell, But for most of us, including me, I've got no interest in buying and selling things. I just want to buy good things and keep them. Along the way, we get a benefit, on this sort of stuff. So let's have a quick look at this awesome calculator we got here. And we go, right, let's say I can get my income between me and a partner or me and an individual. And I'm just showing you guys here. 30%, that's the tax. That's how much tax we pay. But let's say we buy 5 properties, and let's say the offsets, the depreciation on our properties is pretty significant. You can see over here, folks, we are, that's our after-tax income. But what's the game of tax, folks? The game of tax is apply expenses. Apply expenses before you pay tax, okay? Now, as a PAYG earner, it's a bit difficult compared to business owners. However, what's an expense that completely, legitimately, totally, absolutely, 100% applicable before you pay tax, folks? Well, it's the cost of your investment properties. It is absolutely amazing. So let's say we've got 5 properties. We've got $50,000 worth of things we can apply. Check it. Let's have a look at our tax rate over here. Income after tax. Boom, folks. Tax payable, $5,000. Income after tax, 170, right? So it goes, if you go 0, right? 0, that's the tax paying, right? Let's go buy 5 properties. That's $10,000 offset each property. Boom. Like them apples? Yeah, I do, right? Hopefully you do too. And that's the way we as investors can manage some of our stuff. Now, there's a bit more to it, obviously, making sure we get the right property, manage our PAYG variations and all sorts of funky good stuff, right? But at the end of the day, there you go, folks. The game of tax. Let's play a game. The game of 30, really, at the end of the day. And can you minimize it? Can you reduce it? Yes, the answer is yes. Now, people say, oh, listen, if you claim all that depreciation, you've got to pay it back. Well, only when you sell. And I'm not planning on selling. Are you planning on selling? I think selling a good property is not the plan. It's not the plan, folks. And to be honest, even if you did sell, it adds back. Then it gets calculated as a gain. And if you manage that in the right way, you can manage that gain rolling over. There's all sorts of strategies. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully that was useful. But anyway, you're welcome to come along to our event this Friday. Business owners, high net worth, and anyone else for sure. No problems at all. You'll learn something. Absolutely, you will. And that's it. I think I'm done. Started a bit late. Had some technical difficulties, but we got it done today, folks. There you go. All right. Wealth Coffee Chat over and out. As always, if there's something on your mind, give us a shout. Leave a comment in the chat. I always read the comments afterwards. And if there's something you want me to cover when it comes to the world of property investing, let me know. Let me know. Happy to. Always happy to. All right, folks. Done and dusted for today. Wealth Coffee Chat over and out. Monday, the 4th of September. How close is Christmas? This is ludicrous. How close is Christmas? Anyway, the month, the year has just rocketed by. Anyway. All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out. Great to have you here. You guys be awesome. Be well. Have an awesome day. Join me tomorrow for another one, round about 8:10. You know the drill. Till then, folks, be good. Take care. Bye for now.